So this is Collaborate and Learn Part 8. So if you guys have been following it so far, it's been taking a little bit longer than I'd hoped to do this. It's just been very difficult to fit in the time for it, but let's just get moving. I want to try and get as much done as possible here so I can send something back to Steve. And the first thing that I'm doing at the moment is taking everything that's here and turning this into kind of blocks. So I'm just selecting and pushing 4 on the keyboard and just turning these into larger chunks, because at the moment I'm feeling that I need to get some kind of direction on what's going on. And some people might say that I'm just going to be limiting things if I do things in 8-bar chunks, but this is just a way that I prefer to work. I find it makes it easier for me. I'm just having a look here. It's interesting where some of these elements are coming in. There's it feels like they're not actually starting at the very beginning, so I'm going to need to reference that in a minute. But I'm also just going to name these. So this is shift and return. You see this on the tracks. If I'm doing this, it's naming the actual parts as well. I'm assuming actually that all of the programming data is the same here, and I'm hoping that's the case. We'll find out. Just going to take these, Command plus D or Control plus D on PC. Just have a listen. These, I'm just assuming you're going to need to come back. Just going to get these number 4 again, glue these. Not sure what's going with the stabs there. It might be an automation thing, I can't remember. Let me just have a look. Show used automation. Doesn't seem to be anything there at all. Oh, wait a sec. I'm misinterpreting. I need to rename this. I'm just going to call this synth hit. Because stabs, I was thinking with the chord stabs that we've got coming in later. It's been a little while since I looked at this. I've literally kind of dived in on this session. Let me take these because I think they're going to be the same. And possibly these kicks and stuff, we'll see. So what I'm suggesting is that having a collection of 8-bar blocks can really make it easier to see what's going on when you're structuring, because that's what I'm going to try and do here. Try and structure, but also to add some new elements. I'm not intending to get everything done. I just want to get it in a good shape to send back to Steve, basically. Okay, that's where the bass is coming in. That was working nicely there. You can see that some of these are overlaid. You've got this cross hatching. I can glue these together. Yeah, that felt like that came in a little bit too abruptly there. Just getting this one sorted out. To be honest with you, they're all the same though. I know that. Bring this back. Yeah, so what was I feeling? That was coming too abruptly. A short stab, I think, can come in over here. That's better. Yeah, it's nice because that stab on the one there was coming in, and I'm just going to glue these together as well. And in this case you can see that I am basically gluing these and I'm not replacing the original because I don't want to change the automation that's going on here. That's something that would happen if I made a copy of this and moved it over. So that's fine for the moment. Let me just call this stab on the one. Now what's this? Hats. That's 808 kind of hats, isn't it? Let's just make it nice and clear. Glue these. There we go. So all of this lot, I'm filling in the breakdown that some of this is fine for it not to be here, so I'm going to take these away. The other side could probably do with this tidying as well. Let me just get a bearing on this again. Oh yeah. So I remember liking the up. I mean, it's literally, gosh, it's about 2 weeks or so since the last one. And as you guys realize, I don't have tons of spare time to do this kind of stuff, so that's why I've just literally dived in. I wanted you to get a kind of honest kind of look at it, so literally I haven't seen it for a while, and I'm coming in and I'm just seeing what I feel about it at the moment. I haven't even referenced the previous video. I probably should have done. Yeah, it feels like we need some kind of atmospheric pad or something in this gap. Maybe some kind of tension. And I think I'm gonna see if Steve's got any good vocal samples, to fill in there. So I'm just gonna do a zoom here to go to one row. So this is just nice and condensed. And I'm just wondering about this ARP, which is a sample. Steve was saying that he was feeling like he wanted to use a synth or something. He was feeling bad about using an audio loop. But to be honest with you, the audience on the dance floor just are not going to care where your sounds come from. It's only other producers generally that seem to be bothered about where a sound has come from. Ultimately, if it all works, I think it's cool. I think it just needs to have some variation. To recreate that sound will take a lot of time, and it's probably not going to sound as good as this anyway, so I don't really feel it's worth spending time on that. I just think it needs something new going on. When I'm listening to that, I'm hearing the delay is in the audio, and that's quite a shame actually, because it means that I can't take... If I apply a filter, it's going to filter everything, you see. So look, if we have this, how's that being used? That's already been used actually, hasn't it? I can see that now. That's this one. So that filters down. It's not a volume creep. I thought it was volume at first, but it's not. Maybe some other kind of process to change it over time. Maybe like a phaser or something. Let's have a look. Just listening. So let's go for modulation. Take the sync off here. It's a bit more spacey. I'm wondering actually if we do add another delay, this could be interesting. Yeah, I like this. So look. See, what we've got now is we've got the delay after the filter. So that gives us a bit more flexibility. Just going to take this, maybe bring this higher, bring that down. It's a bit loud at the moment. Delay mix, just going to take down a bit lower. Just going to check on this section. Okay, yeah, this is all moving a little bit kind of slow for me. I feel the movement in fact should come down so this is acting more like a low pass filter. I'm just going to take that away. Just going to see how it is on here. Just going to make that a bit more linear. No, it's too much. Too low. We definitely need some other bits in the background. Do Do you know what I'm feeling now is, now I'm listening to this, it's really taking the kind of energy doesn't feel right when it's filtering down. I'm going to keep that up bright most of the time. And the thing is to bear in mind with this filter is where it's going above the 0, that's actually turning it into a high pass filter. So it's thinning the sound out. We need the brightness here. I'm just wondering actually, let's drop in on here, Steinberg, distortion and bit crusher. If we break the sound up a bit. Actually, I like it at that setting and just a static setting there because it's made it sound a little bit more rough and ready now. See how it goes. You know, when you're producing, you just got to try ideas out. Doesn't mean that everyone's going to work. Some of them will, some of them won't. I think that needs to be just a bit higher when it comes in. It feels to me like that riff has got more of its own personality now compared to before. But what we need is another ingredient basically. So I'm going to do add track instrument, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on the Steinberg synth heading on Sonic SE because this is a very common one for composition. Trying to avoid the third-party synths. Well, you guys know that I reach quite often for the M1. It's got a real classic vibe to it, but I'm going to see what we got going on here. So I'm looking in my mind for something that can create some tension, like a high string kind of sound. And I'm going to come up here, drop this down, and just going to see what we got. Just waiting for it to sort itself out. And what I'm going to look for is not a synth pad, maybe strings. It could be any of these, I'm not sure really. I'm just going to double click on that and see. Now what I like about that is it's not actually a traditional synth, string, it's more of a synth string. It's got a real kind of interesting tone and the pulse that's going on there. So it's slightly got this kind of out of pitch kind of flavour to it. I quite like that. I'm not sure how it's going to fit. Just going to see. Yeah, let me just take the volume down. Yeah, maybe something like that. Just gonna record something in. Okay, it doesn't need to come in there. I'll move that with the editing after. In fact, I'll start it from about here. So keep that running. So some other sounds can be layered on top. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take all of that and I'm going to move it later. So just taking a look here. This is going to go here. And then possibly some higher notes as well. Didn't have enough on the keyboard there. Just enlarge this and see if that works. Okay, and then one more. I'm just doing this by ear again, alright, so I don't know anything about the notes and what I should be using, what I shouldn't be. It's just literally what I'm hearing will go with this, okay? Okay, now that's cool. Still needs to be other things going on here. So it's rising synth string. I'm just going to load up another instance. I like to work like this with the instrument tracks, even though Halion Sonic is multi-timbral. I like to do this just a separate track for each element. What we got here? Interesting, that's a default patch on there. I'm going to bring that down. Just transposing that down. No, it's not quite right. I'm looking for some kind of effect. Let's take this off. Let's go sound effects. Rainforest. Interesting. Okay. Do you know what? I like that. I'm going to record that in. So I'm going to create some variation by playing different notes on the keyboard. So it's a single note at the moment. Just going to play another one in a second. Playing the original note lower. So just kind of playing random stuff really here at the moment. When I play it higher, it plays faster. So look, I'll do that now. Which is quite an interesting texture. Definitely feels like some kind of vocal spoken word hook or something on this section. It's also feeling to me that that synth can go now, because it's going to create a real nice texture shift. And that gives room for the arpeggiated synth to come back later. So that's the that's the reason for doing that. What else? What else? Rainforest is working nicely actually. Just wondering about maybe one of these rhythmic elements just to bring the pulse in a bit earlier. Maybe some kind of riff that could work later on, I'm not sure. Let me just bring in another instance. I'm going to use one of those new synths, the Pad Shop. So this is a granular synth, so what it does is it has samples that can be broken down into tiny chunks that can then be kind of stretched and manipulated, and this should give us some interesting textures. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this at all. Let's load it up. I have hardly had time to explore this synth. I have a feeling it's a very interesting one, particularly if you can bring your own samples in. I think one of the versions, the Pad Shop Pro, you can. Just checking out some of these. Just take this and see if we've got some categories. See what's coming up. I want sound effects. That's nice. It's got some good texture to it. See what else we got? No. Wrong kind of effect. That it feels too. Yeah, I'm going to go back to this. The previous sound felt a bit too kind of EDM to me. Let's see how this fits. See if that works. Nah, not. Maybe just little bursts of it here and there. It's got almost too much of a distinct tone in there. See what else we got. That was quite nice. Almost as a kind of riser. Yeah, here we go. Let's do that here. Yeah, that's working nicely there, so I'm going to say noise riser. Right, okay, so look, I'm going to hold it there, and I'm going to get that sent off back. The reason why it's doing that is because this needs to be quantized, and I can just trim that back now. There we go. So yeah, I'll send it back to Steve, and I think, Steve, you'll be watching this, of course. I reckon some vocal kind of thing going on here, and then the challenge, of course, is going to be to keep this moving. I think I mentioned something about some kind of new musical thing, like a middle eight. So I'll have to have a think about that. But see how that approach of turning these individual parts into 8-bar chunks helps you. See if that helps with structuring. And let's see if you can come up with the vocal kind of texture here, some sample or something similar to your simple message track. And let's see if we can get this other stuff moving this week. Okay.